Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE Monday Night Raw on July 27th, 2015. And, at the beginning of the show, they dubbed it a night of first. And it was pretty much just a night of first-time matches. And in the terms of storyline, you got a couple story building elements in there. At the beginning, I did like the promo that they did at the beginning, Triple H Stephanie did at the beginning of the show, kind of setting up the entire show in the terms of what matches you were going to see. Like, they announced Dean Ambrose and Big Show, and they announced Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. They also announced like Paige versus Sasha Banks, and of course the other Divas tag match with Alicia Fox and Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch and Charlotte. So they put great emphasis behind each of these matches being like the first ones. And then of course you have John Cena go out there and cut his promo on why he wanted to go after the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Obviously they're going in that route of having him go up against Seth Rollins at the SummerSlam pay-per-view, which they now have announced that it's going to be 4 hours long. I don't know how I feel about that. Obviously, WrestleMania is 4 hours long, and that usually turns out to be a good show. And they've always dubbed this show like the biggest thing of the summer, at least for them. So I don't see a problem with them going 4 hours with it, as long as they, of course, fill the time. So we'll see how the actual show gets filled up and everything on that aspect. Going into some of these matches, though, you had Big Show and Dean Ambrose pretty much kick it off with in the terms of matches. And honestly, in the terms of story building, you got a lot more story building in through the aspect of Miz, Ryback, and Big Show through the Miz on commentary, talking about how weak Ryback is and how much better he is than how much better he is than Ryback. Of course, what he said he would do to Big Show. What I liked about the match was how they decided to continually build this aspect. They've always made that area of a never give up type with Dean Ambrose, but they definitely emphasized this a lot better, and they emphasized it a lot better throughout that entire match about how, it looks like he's going to get counted. He's going to get counted out. Gets into the ring until he finally can't do it anymore, or just barely couldn't get in the. It's like he gets counted out, but he barely misses getting back in the ring after the KO punch. So, good way of kind of building Dean Ambrose in there. Though it's kind of weird in the terms of story, he doesn't really get much of anything because it was looking like he was teaming up with Roman Reigns, going up against the Wyatt family in this case, but you also didn't see Roman Reigns on the show as well. You had a great promo from Bray Wyatt setting up everything, and setting up Luke Harper coming back into the Wyatt family and everything on that aspect. And Luke Harper's portion of the promo was actually pretty good as well. The match with Sasha Banks and Paige was a really good match. And I also enjoyed the Divas tag match later on in the show. And I'm kind of clumping these both together in the terms of everything, because they kind of all three teams kind of work hand in hand here. In the terms of story building for them, they didn't really do anything in the terms of story building this week between the three of them. It's kind of been the same thing they've been doing, building up the NXT Divas, kind of getting them over. Having Sasha Banks go over Paige in this case, not a bad idea with it. Also, like I said, really good match between the two of them, and now they're having Becky Lynch go over for once in this case as well, with her winning the tag team match as well. So, they were just trying to build the NXT Divas again this week. Not much in the terms of storyline between them, though. The tag team title area, you have primetime players on commentary this week going with Los Matadores and Lucha Dragons. They're playing off of this. I think they're playing off this aspect of they're trying to go with some kind of fatal four-way and everything for a tag team title match at the SummerSlam. So we'll see where they go. We'll see where they go with that. The match with Lucha Dragons and Los Matadores was a relatively entertaining match. I really was entertained by Titus O'Neil and JBL. This is like one of the few times I actually was kind of entertained by JBL. His commentary with Titus O'Neil it's almost like pure gold right now. Titus O'Neil on commentary is really good, and even his interaction with Darren Young was really good on the microphone. I like Titus O'Neil on the mic. New Day's interference in the terms of actually kind of weird, distracting the teams inside the ring by gloating at the primetime players was kind of weird, but I guess that's how they're trying to work this fatal four-way area in there, because you had last week with Los Matadores getting the win over the primetime players. Now Lucha Dragons go over Los Matadores in this case. So all in all, not really that bad. And it's loosely tied in there. So we'll see how everything goes over the next few weeks and how they actually set up the tag team title situation, whether they're going for a fatal four-way or if you're going to get this triple threat #1 contenders match, or what do we'll see where they go with everything in this case. Of course, they did promo packages throughout the night with Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. With obviously both those guys not being on the show, you had to do something in the terms of that to continue building the Survivor Series match. So you pretty much got a bunch of what happened the week before. So nothing much on that side. The Kevin Owens Randy Orton match was a really good match, and also was this was the theme of the night as well. Obviously they were doing the night of first in the terms of matches, so you're putting your feuds on commentary. So you had Sheamus on commentary for this match, and of course he interferes, interrupting the match in there, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought there really quickly, but and I'm gonna keep this in there too, people. But in this case, Cesaro comes out trying to make the save for Randy Orton, going after Kevin Owens for what he had done on SmackDown. I liked where they went. I like where they're going with that. I wish they would have put these two together with Kevin Owens as the United States champion. That would have been cool in that sense. But you're gonna get a really good match out of Kevin Owens and Cesaro somewhere down the road. They're continuing on with that feud. Basically based off of how everything went with the United States Open Challenge way back, or not way back, but a few weeks back and everything in that area. At this point they're still kind of putting over Kevin Owens in there, him getting over on Cesaro again tonight with another pop-up powerbomb. And they also had Sheamus going over Randy Orton in this case, with him interrupting the match with the Brogue Kick. So in the terms of actually story building, that was one of those few times that they're kind of, you're still building your feuds with what you're going with. They're continuing on with Sheamus and Randy Orton. Whatever, they feuded billions of times and they've had tons of matches, but you're kind of getting, you're not really getting new, but you're kind of getting them still feuding at this point. I'm more interested in the Kevin Owens and Cesaro area, where they're going to go with that. How are they going to, where are the promos going to work in this? They've only really done action so far, but is it going to be very heavy Kevin Owens, or are they going to let Cesaro be on the mic and try to rebut in the terms of promo? So we'll see where they go with everything on that aspect as well. And this brings me to what was the main event of the night, which was John Cena, Seth Rollins. I said beforehand, you had Cena interrupt Rollins during the promo at the beginning of the show. That set up the match between the two of them. Of course, Cena tried to make it for the WWE World Heavyweight title. Of course, they're going to do the bit where they say no, but now your United States title's on the line type moments. So you had the United States title again in the main event of the show with Cena and Rollins. And you knew they were going to put Cena over in this case. It was just going to be a matter of how they were going to do it. Were they going to do it cleanly? Were they going to do it where someone runs in and helps Seth Rollins, and that's how Cena wins the match? No, they decided to go cleanly here, and I'll say this was a really good match. A really good match. You know, Cena's been putting on some really good matches as of late. Of course, Seth Rollins has too. These two worked well together. Before the end of the match, it has to go to be said because we've been seeing really good matches from Cena. But I'm going to particularly go with one spot here towards the end of the match before he misses the Phoenix Splash and causes him to tap out to the STF. The superplex into the Falcon's Arrow was an amazing spot. It was a great spot in there. And of course, the match, like I said, the match itself was really good throughout the entire thing. But that spot right there was just, you didn't really see it coming, how easily Seth Rollins flowed into it. It was a really good, well-placed spot in there. So I just have to give a nod to that spot. It was just a really cool spot. In the terms of building it, this kind of sets it up to make it, you have to kind of give Cena a title match in the terms of storyline now, because they had him go over cleanly here. So, I mean, obviously they're going to do something in the terms of storyline wise next week to try to weasel their way out of it. So we'll see how they work about that. But, you know, they're definitely pushing towards Cena versus Rollins for SummerSlam for the WWE World Heavyweight title. So we'll see how that works. I'm thinking, like I said last week, this is where it looked like they were going. I honestly hope this is not an area where they're thinking, okay, we need to get the title off Seth Rollins. We need to get the title off Seth Rollins. Who do we put it on? Hey, there's Cena over there. No, I actually want them to, you know, have Cena in here to try to build Seth Rollins a little bit more and have him maybe go over at SummerSlam. And maybe they can continue feuding afterwards as well. But I would like to see them actually use Cena to kind of push Rollins a little bit more. I do see them putting the title back on Cena at some point in time, just not right now. That's where I'm thinking at this point. I don't think they need to put the title back on him now. I want to see them do it later on. So we'll see how they continue on building this feud down the road. Overall, this week's Raw, not bad. I won't say it was bad. It lacked in some areas of story building, but I mean, you got a great promo from Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper in there, and you know, to continue building their feud with Roman Reigns and probably Dean Ambrose in there as well. But otherwise, you know, you got some story elements in there, but they lacked in some other story elements. So storyline-wise, kind of a mishmash of good and, you know, we're not really doing anything with this week. Maybe we'll do something with it next week area. But the matches themselves, I felt this week were pretty good matches, and a lot of them were just, I'll just straight up say it, they were good. They were good and fun and enjoyable to watch. So a rather enjoyable Raw. It's actually fully hard to say that. Most of the times I kind of say, okay, it was good, but it was kind of bad in the terms of certain other cases. And I completely forgot that they did the spot with Rusev and Summer Rae and Lana. I get where I get their, you know, kind of biding time till Dolph Ziggler can come back, but this week's segment was kind of weird. Yeah, I'll just go with weird. They definitely were trying to make Lana go over strong in this case, which isn't a bad thing. You know, they're still trying to build up Lana as a face of some kind. Summer Rae just looks completely out of place here in this area. And I'm not sure if I'm liking where they're going with Rusev at this point either. So we'll see how everything goes. I'll be more interested, I guess, when Dolph Ziggler comes back into the fray, and see how they kind of build that up, whether you're going to build a match between Rusev and Dolph, or they're going to build a mixed tag or something in that sense. So we'll see how they go with everything. And like I said, this week's segment with them was kind of weird. I'll just straight up say, I mean, come on, you had a random fish in there. You had a random fish. And then Summer Rae gets her face rubbed in it. So like I said, kind of weird in that case. But they were just trying to, I guess, build since, you know, they had kind of gotten over Lana a little bit over the last couple weeks. They're trying to build her in the terms of looking a little bit stronger as well. So we'll see where they go with that. So that is my review this week for WWE Monday Night Raw. And I thank you guys for watching.